Hi everyone. So this is the last workshop of the Evmos-Covalent Hackathon, which is really exciting. And then hopefully you guys will be submitting your projects in soon. Today's speaker is Ilija. Yeah, let me just pin your screen for everyone. So Ilija, you were a past hackathon winner, right? And you're here to talk a little bit about your experience. Jamie will be posting your Twitter handle in the chat, and I'm just going to pass over to you because I'm sure you have more interesting things to say than I do. So take it away.
Okay, thank you for introduction. I am Ilija, and I got an invitation from Encode people and Covalent team to talk about my own experience from the past Evmos Momentum Hackathon. So basically, I will just be straightforward. How did I heard about Evmos? How I figured out that there will be hackathon, and what did I and a couple of people with me build for that hackathon. In that, I think in 70 days was the time frame to submit the project. And so yeah, Evmos Momentum Hackathon, there was over 800 signups and almost 200 project submissions. And yeah, we won the first place in the category of infrastructure. And I will share my screen, and I will just present the product that we've built and how did we build it and what challenges we faced then, and so on. So I will just speak. So yeah, we all probably know what Evmos is, and how the Evmos get in the front of my eyes and in the front of the eyes of my team. We figured out that there will be airdrop. So airdrop is really interesting things to put a lot of eyes on some projects. So that's the way how we find the Evmos. But when we started to digging into the Evmos, we just figured out that Evmos is something that we should pay attention to because of the whole Cosmos ecosystem, and because the Evmos just want to be some sort of, let's say, bridge for the all EVM chains to Cosmos ecosystem. And yeah, when we saw that there will be Evmos Momentum Hackathon, we just decided to build something. We are mostly for the past 5 or 6 years, we are buying and selling, trading cryptocurrencies, and we are in the crypto world for years. And we didn't see that Evmos have something like, let's say, Nansen or some really decent chain explorer where we can follow the wallet, the contracts, to see some performance of someone's assets on the chain, and so on and so forth. And there we got the idea just to build a Nansen tool. So Nansen, it's a tool to monitor all on-chain activities across the EVM chains. And we decided, well, we can build something like that, but for Evmos, and eventually for the whole Cosmos. There isn't a tool like that on the Cosmos side. And yeah, so their idea of the Evmos Tracker came, and so that's it. We started with design. We know what we want to build here. We had on our mind that everything is mostly set it up, regard APIs, regard their RPCs and so on. But that wasn't really the case. We had really a hard time to find the right data. And just when we started to build things, we saw that, we have to figure it out where we can, from where we can get the data for our UI. And so yeah, this is how this tool looks like. So when you just refresh the screen, for the sake of Momentum Hackathon, and in this 60 to 70 days, we've built the 3 modules, and the other 3 modules are something that was built in the last couple of weeks. And this is all on my local environment, because I want to show you these things as well. And so yeah, basically on the we decide to present on this the main dashboard, the main home screen, the all Evmos ERC20 tokens. That's the first thing. The second thing is to show NFT collections, and the fourth thing is just to show the prices and the best performance of the best tokens, the best performing tokens for the last 7 days or 24 hours. So yeah, and where we got all this data, I think that's really interesting to show. For the first thing here, for the Evmos ERC20 tokens, those tokens are the old tokens that are listed on the Fusion Finance DEX. So we had the challenge to find where we can get all these tokens. We didn't want to check the Fusion factory contract to take all the tokens from there and so on, so forth. And finally, we found all the list of all these tokens on the Diffusion's GitHub repository. So basically, all these tokens here on the left side are taken from their GitHub repository. They just update this JSON file there with all listed tokens on, I think, really in a real time, that this is something that is happening there. Yeah, and if you can see, there is really shortage of data. Everything what you have here is the decimals address and the logo URL and the symbol of this token. And we just want to show even supply and the price of this token as well. And how we managed to get that data, it's that we also using Covalent APIs, and we just found the pricing API, so historical by address, where Covalent, you just put the contract contract address here. You say that you want this information in a USD currency, and this just the Covalent to just give you all the data back. So we on this way we managed to get not just a current price of the token, but even historical price of the tokens there. And as you can see, almost every token have their price. Maybe some of the fresh tokens doesn't have it, but we are now working on it to figure out even that. And for other data of tokens, we are using Evmos API. So basically, if you navigate to Evmos and just decide to find what Evmos have on their APIs, you can find the GraphQL, you can find RPCs as well. and there is really good amount of the endpoints that you guys can take and to build something what you are already building. So it's really useful as well. That's the first thing. Second thing is top NFT collections. So what we're doing here is that I need to show you this network tab. It's a bit better to show you in this way. We found that orbitalmarkets.com is the biggest NFT marketplace on the Evmos. So Orbital Market. Yes, Orbital Market IO. And the thing is that guys from Orbital Market have their own GraphQL server as well. And if you closely look at all these records, or all these calls to GraphQL server in collections or Explorer or markets, you can find the way to get that data as well. So Orbit Markets API, Orbit Market. What we have here, it's this. First thing first, we are getting data collections for every collection, and we just we are connected to Orbital Market GraphQL, and we are getting that data. Well, we are presenting that data on our way here. And so if you can see in the payload, we just find the all NFTs contracts addresses here, and those addresses we are using as a payload on their GraphQL server, and we are getting that data back. Counts, listings, volumes, so on and so forth. It's not just that everything is, again, here, never ever everything it's on the one API call. You have to, you really have to merge all that calls and merge data from the different resources. And this is what we are doing here. And you can see if we are now getting data for floor. Here you are getting floor informations. Here you are getting collection activities, buying, selling, and so on. So you can build some graphs or whatever. And this is how we build this part of dashboard. You can even sort this from the biggest to lowest and so on. And if you click here, you'll be you are going to open Orbit Market here and that collection. And you see all this data here is just the data here. And yeah, so that's it about NFT collections. Here we just decided to add this trade button where you can click it and you can see the decentralized exchanges on the Evmos, in the Evmos ecosystem, even though Diffusion hold the almost all TVL in the Evmos ecosystem. More than 91% of every liquidity is on Diffusion. But we decided to put the Kronos Finance and Evmos Swap here just for the sake of the, I don't know, transparency, and to show the users that there are more projects in an ecosystem. So this is all about home and the dashboard here. Second thing, it's Wallet Inspector. Wallet Inspector, you can put, let me just take one of my address. When you put your address here, so it's really you have to put your wallet address, not the contract address. If you put the contract address, there will be pop-up that's saying, hey, you put the contract address, not the wallet. And so we cannot show you this. And idea here is just to show all the tokens held by this wallet, related wallets. So we are taking transactions that this wallet make or was involved in, and we are showing the other wallets that are connected to this one. So another thing, it's just the Evmos holdings. The all-time activity is how often someone interact with contracts, and the trading activity is how often someone interact with the router of decentralized exchanges. Yeah, so how often someone trade. For wallet inspector, we have a couple of routes. So from the Evmos org, we are using token autocomplete. We are checking does this wallet is even active on Evmos mainnet. If it's not, so we are not just we are break the logic in a code and said just this wallet isn't active, and that's it. And if it's active, you see what you see here. Next thing, module account. Okay, so again, native balance of Evmos is one thing, and other token balances is another thing. Again, we are getting Evmos balance, and we are getting token list for our address, and we are building this one, this section here from, again, two API calls. Here you can see all the transactions. Again, covalent for this imported address. There is really a lot of data here. You just pick what you need. And okay, so this is interesting as well. Defilama recently published their own API, and we just decided to test with this API, and we are just taking the last finished block from the Evmos mainnet. Why? When we are building this graph here, wallet value, you basically you guys can see that those numbers are really weird. Those are the block numbers. We are just building our own data module for this one, where we will said, hey, wallet value for the last 7 days that, 30 days that, 6 months is that. We didn't have all that in a hackathon. I mean, we didn't have time, so we have to build something that it's somehow useful, and we built something like that. So we got the last finished blocks from Defilama, and we are looking for the past blocks, every X, Y blocks, what was Evmos holding in that block. So, and it's interesting, it's really accurate. So, okay, that went really good. This is about wallet inspector. Next thing, it's token inspector. You can choose here ERC20 tokens, the same tokens that are displayed here in the dashboard. So if we put the rapid Evmos, you can see the next thing. Data, it's kind of misleading also. Holders count, it's not really correct here. Again, we are building just now we are building our own data aggregator that will give the correct numbers here. But the idea was just to show, basically, think about the tokens in the token inspector, holders count, newsfeed. It's something that we are building right now. Also, we have microservices that that fetch the latest tweets for the project. So yeah, we have a our, let's say, database with all these projects, and every of those projects have, I mean, 99% of these projects have a Twitter account. And when the user pick here the tokens, we will show the last tweets, and we will check on some regular base, is there something new? Is there something new? Just pop the news here. So that's something like we are allowing to say Bloomberg terminal for Evmos Evmos chain. Yeah. What we have here is the top token distribution and the top holders. So you can see here that I don't know how many wallets are here, maybe even 1,000, but also there is the icon that it's showing, it's that address smart contract. And if that address is the smart contract, we are displaying this icon, and we are excluding that address for this pi. So every of those holders in this distribution presentation is the external owner account. So it's a wallet, it's not a smart contract. Yeah. What we are doing here, also what we are using here. Okay. So basically that was easy one. We are getting token holders for contract address from Evmos API, from Evmos API. Yeah. Okay. And next thing is that if you just, I mean, there is the interaction things. I don't want to talk too much about it, but if you click on one of those wallets, you'll be navigated to wallet inspector. Okay. You for example, you can see the entered address is a contract address. So when you click on something here, when you choose the address, you will be navigated to wallet inspector and so on and so forth. Those three modules were built for Evmos Momentum Hackathon, and for those three things, we won the first place. So that was really exciting to see. What we are building now is the other three modules. So here you will see next thing. When you hit the contract activities, those data, it's dummy data. It's not the real data. But what we want to show in this contract activities module is just to show the most used contracts on the Evmos network, to show how much gas it's consumed by the contracts, and again to show only NFT related contracts and their own metrics. And we just want to match to see what contracts are the most used, and maybe there is the new deployed contracts on the network. Everyone will start using it. No one knows anything about it, but this module will immediately show this contract here, and we will be able to allocate maybe some new projects or the new tokens on the mainnet, or I don't know, something third. But yeah, so idea is to detect early things on the network, even before the thing hit the news, hit the Twitter, and so on. Yeah, so that's the idea here. X revenue, it's something from Evmos. So Evmos have module that have a name, X revenue. What is that? So that's the module where the developers can register their smart contracts, and they can start to earn additional revenue. So what does it mean? If you are the builder, if you are building protocol and you deploy that protocol on the Evmos mainnet, and you are whitelisted in X revenue and how people from the Evmos like to say Evmos dApp store. If you are in the Evmos dApp store, you can start to get revenue from it. So basically, that much gas that users spend on the interaction with your protocol, 50% of that spent gas you will earn from them. So 50% is developer shares and 50% it's validator shares. Those numbers are dummy numbers, as you can see, but those contracts here and deployers are not dummy numbers. Those informations are taken from Evmos.org REST, another REST service where you can really see how, which contracts are whitelisted in revenues module of Evmos. And those are contracts, those are deployers, and you can check that there also. That's it. So yeah, we are building our own, again, data where we can represent those projects right here, to put the websites, to put just to navigate users on those protocols. So we can have multiple DEXs, but probability is that if user know that if he buying and selling asset on the DEX that it's whitelisted in a revenue module, the probability is that this DEX will be the most used DEX again. So because even protocols earns, but even users getting some of those gas back. And this is incentives module, basically how in revenue module protocols earn. In incentives module, there is something that it's called gas meter. So when you are going to interact with those protocols that are in the App Store, you will get some of the gas used back to your wallet, to your account. And just to show you how this will be looks like, I will open Figma file and I will finish soon with my presentation. This is how will this revenue module will look like. Yeah, and this is how the incentives module will look like, and the users will be able to find their address and how much in a reward they will get back because of interactions with those whitelisted protocols. Yeah, so yeah, this is the end. And another useful APIs and infrastructure that we are using here is we found the Blast API really useful because they are sending back to you data on the API that it's logs are also decompiled, so you can really see the logs. You don't have to you don't have to chain requests or RPC calls. You can get in the one block transactions, all the logs and so on. You can check this, and the token QL, it's useful also services that's the build for one endpoint to rule them all. This is one of my friend. He won also one of the prize in the Evmos Momentum Hackathon. And yeah, so basically you just hit the contract of NFT contracts or ERC20 contracts, and you get back everything, list of all the users, amounts, and everything. You can check this. It's not only Evmos related. Leon working on the indexing all the EVM chains, and this is something really, really cool to work on. And yeah, so Heroku is something where we are have our own microservices, let's say. So the Python scripts, the Flask, actually Flask backends, where we are getting all data from all around, and we will have one unique call for everything what we saw here. So 1 or 2 unique calls for all of this data. When you hit the wallet, 1 call to cover all this data. So we are building our own API that it's suitable with our own UI UX here with our front end. And yeah, so it started with the hackathon, and now it's going really to be, I don't know, I just want it to be a really serious application where the users can navigate and to check some metrics that are not available on one place. And I just want to make good job and represent all this data in some unique and really good way for users. Okay, so 33 minutes. I think I am done here, and I don't know, maybe if there is some questions, I will answer. But yeah, so I will just say to all participants, just dig everything where you can, find the data. If you need to find it from the 15 sources, find it, take it, make magic with all the data, and yeah, so just build. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ilija, for coming in to speak to us about everything. Does anyone have any questions that they'd like to ask? Feel free to shout out or just put your questions in the chat. I've got a few myself as well. So in terms of, Evmos and Covalent, what do you like most about using the technology, using Covalent's API, for example?
Okay, good question. So I like with Covalent, the thing is that Covalent, it's really up to date, the data tech firm. So basically Evmos is really young blockchain, and there is more EVMs that are popping up every day, but Evmos just keep track of everything that is happening on that scene, right? And now I'm a part of the Data Alchemist program of Covalent, and the product that we are testing and working now, it's really, really amazing. So I like how Covalent building that own database and how they set all this data so that will be easier for us and developers to use it. So that's something really, really amazing to me. Yeah. So I mean, in this program, I've heard that the Covalent holding 29 terabytes of data for all these 40-50 EVM chains, and they are talking that at the beginning of the next year there will be 70 to 80 chains. That's something really mind-blowing, and I like that a lot.
Awesome. Yeah, amazing. So in terms of where our hackers are, so this is the last workshop, what tips would you give as a hackathon winner to submitting your project, laying everything out? What are the best tips you can give?
I don't know, I started the hackathon, Evmos Momentum Hackathon, with something that I'll build anyway. So my idea was just to build this web platform. I saw that company like Nansen and Sentiment and all these data companies that are building reports are really institutional oriented, and they're really charge a lot of money to see data, to see the reports and so on. And the most funniest things is that that data is already publicly available. And that's just the repackaging data and show that data on unique way and just charge for it. I don't know how much money. And here I had on my mind, well, let's just build something like that and just put it for community. And yeah, I'm in contact with Evmos team, and they really like this idea, and they told me to sign on a hackathon, on Evmos Momentum hackathon. And I just say, why not? So I just signed for that hackathon. But yeah, the most important things is that just I saw what is missing. I just want to know the things what I want to know, to see what I want to know. I see that there isn't something like that, and I just decide to build it first for myself and then just put it to public. And yeah, that leads to winning prize on the hackathon. Yeah.
No,
So just
that's really
build something. Yes, build something for yourself first, and that will be really useful, and other will find that useful as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you so much for that. I've got one more question, unless there's anyone in the chat. No questions there at the moment. I think one more sort of more, I guess, personal question. Did you always see yourself doing this when you were younger? How has what you're doing now changed over the years?
Yeah, so when I was younger, really the child, I always have that stand of watching things around me, and yeah, so I always watch. And when I got involved here, that's something that we should do. It's to watch for the things that are moving around. I think we saw really bad things in the crypto in the last week, like and my group as well, we had really decent amount of capital on FTX, but as soon as we saw the smoke, we just withdraw everything. We just make the moves, and if we didn't watch the things, we will probably end up in loss as well. So when I was younger, that the main thing is that I always think that I will do something really important. I just have a thinking about myself that not that I'm just the best, and that I never have some high thinking about myself. I just had something in myself that it's something like, okay, you have something and you just have to use that something to not only for you, for your family, but for a broader audience or community. That is something that was always in me. And now the path is the path. Everyone have a path. I mean, 7 years ago, eight years ago, I finished my college and I worked 2 years as a bartender. So imagine that. But that's the life, you know. And day by day and so on, you just have to looking what is best for yourself first thing, and then don't be selfish and share that to others. And so yeah, that base feelings and thoughts about myself was the same till today, but the life just moving you around. But I never forgot about who am I, and here I am now. Yeah.
And I think you've created something that's really great to like give back to the community as well. So yeah, thank you so much for presenting and speaking with us. And I think we'll probably wrap it up there. Thank you so much again, Ilija. And I guess I'll wish everyone a very good weekend.